Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be redecoing this unicorn cake squishy. This is actually a fake one because I don't have the real one, so I am sorry about that. But anyway, this is a collaboration with TheHollyCopter and JoJoCraftyLove. I believe they're like thumbnails on the screen right now so that you can see it, but basically we all decided to do a redeco of the unicorn cake squishy, and as you can see here on mine, like only the front of it's painted, so that's how you know it's really cheap. But anyway, I had this in my collection, so I thought this would be the perfect one to do this redeco of. But yeah, like I said, we all redecoed the unicorn cake squishy and we decided to make it into a Halloween themed in whatever way we wanted. We just had to redeco it to make it more kind of fitting for Halloween. So this took me a long time to decide what I actually wanted to do with this, so yeah, hopefully it kind of like all pulls together in the end. But first thing I went ahead and did was kind of smoothed out the roses that were on the unicorn cake, and then I actually went ahead and just chopped off the ears. I then smoothed out all the bits remaining on the top of the cake, and then I took a piece of memory foam and I just drew out a leg shape on the memory foam. I then went ahead and cut this shape out, and I actually just cut it in half so that I had 2 legs in total, and then I just smoothed out each one of the legs one at a time. I made sure to make like the actual leg part a bit skinnier than the shoe end, just because I wanted the shoe to kind of stand out a little bit more. Next I went in with some hot glue and just hot glued those 2 legs to the place where the ears were before, and I would recommend using fabric glue over hot glue, but I am really impatient, so I just use a tiny bit of hot glue and let the paint kind of really seal it in afterwards. Next I went ahead and took this black puffy paint that I had left over from a previous project, and this is just black puffy paint mixed in with some white glue and actually a tiny bit of shaving foam to thicken it up, because sometimes like puffy paints and stuff can be quite thin. I use this technique quite a lot to thicken out my paint if it is too watery and I want a really opaque finish. So I did 2 coats of the black in total. The second time round I did accidentally get a few bits of like dried paint in it, which was really annoying, but I just took my sponge and kind of like sponged those bits off and just carried on painting until I was happy with a nice black opaque finish all over the entire squishy, including the new added legs. Now, some people do say to kind of like sand the squishy down. I don't really find this as necessary, so long as you put on a nice thin coat to begin with and build up the layers, as it sticks really well. I next went in with some puffy paint again with the colours yellow, orange and red. This was just normal puffy paint, except the orange was a Scribbles fabric paint. I just squeezed it right out from the tube into the kind of like paint palette there, and taking a paintbrush I started off with some yellow. I went around those yellow bits with orange and then went around the orange with the red to create like some flame effects coming up from the bottom. I did this all the way around it, but I only filmed the front side so that you could kind of get an idea of what I was doing. Now this bit doesn't have to be perfect obviously because it's flames and flames aren't always perfect, so it can be, you know, as messy as you like. Anyway, I then took a lime green colour and then started painting all the roses in the lime green over the black. Now you're probably wondering why I bothered painting these black in the first place, and that was just to build up the thin layers so that the colour would go on really smoothly in the end and I didn't have to build up like 5 layers, because sometimes you have to do that. And I have a lot of black puffy paint in my collection and not so many colours, so I figured that I would just paint it black first for the first couple of layers and then just paint the details in after, and it actually worked out really well. Some people do say that my green sometimes appears yellow on camera, but I can assure you this is actually lime green in person, just in case you're wondering. So I then went in with a brown once those 2 layers of green had dried, and I just painted like the little bubbles at the bottom and added in some kind of rectangles as well coming out of those bubbles all along the bottom. Does that even make any sense? It probably doesn't. I just continued to paint the brown all the way around, adding rectangles in, you know, here, there and everywhere, just making it really random. Next I mixed up a lilac colour and I just painted on the leg. I was going to start off by making stripes, but then I figured it would be easier if I just paint the whole thing and then paint the stripes on afterwards. So I went ahead and just painted it and missed out the shoe part, but actually on like the toe bit of the shoes I just kind of popped a little like half semicircle, just to kind of give the impression that there was a little bit of like sock or like tights showing through, you know, like when you have that bar shoe and you get that little shape. That's what I was trying to imitate, and I basically just went ahead and popped the same design with this lilac colour on both of the legs. A darker purple, I just started painting like the previous unicorn horn in the middle of the two legs, and basically what I wanted it to look like was a witch's hat. So I just painted the whole thing in this purple colour, and then I figured that I would put like a rim on the hat, so I actually just popped that around like the outside so it looked like it was kind of sitting on top of the green stuff in the cauldron. And I also went ahead and did the same thing on the front as well. I wasn't planning on doing it, but I just wanted to make sure that it actually looked like a hat rather than just, you know, a horn coming out of green stuff in a weird cauldron, which is basically what it is. But you know, you've got to try, you've got to use your imagination a bit. So I just went ahead and popped the brim on the front also. So once that colour had completely dried down, I then went in with the same colour again and popped some stripes onto the legs like I previously said. This was just an easier way to get like the alternating colours, and I did that on both the legs so that it had like funky tights or socks or whatever witches were. I'm really not sure, but I did stripes all the way around the legs. Next I went over the hat bit again because I figured it needed something a little bit extra, so I figured that I would do like a purple type ombre going up the hat. So I actually added in some of that lilac colour and some more of the purple colour just to give it an ombre effect going up to the top of the hat, so that it just added some more depth. I thought that would be a good touch. I then went in with some black Scribbles fabric paint and I just painted like a leather kind of strap around the hat, as every picture of witch's hat I'm looking at, they have this strap on, so that's exactly what I went ahead and did. What I then went ahead and did was I mixed up a golden colour. I would have used a gold actual, you know, fabric paint, but I actually ran out of it and I didn't think to buy any more when I was in the craft shop the other day, which was really annoying. So I mixed up a golden colour with some yellow and some orange, and I just popped on like a little buckle on the front of that strap. I then went ahead and popped two little dots on the shoes as well to make it look like they had buckles, and I then went ahead and neatened that up with a bit of purple again because I did smudge it a little bit. So yeah, I just added some more purple onto that. I then went ahead and took some brown tulip slick paint, and then with a dotting tool I just went ahead and added some swirls to those little like blobs down the bottom because I wanted it to look like there was kind of like ends of logs that would, you know, be part of like the fire around the cauldron. I also added detail to like the rectangle bits to make them look like there was kind of logs sticking up, and I just went ahead and did that all the way around to all the little brown bits all around the squishy. I then decided that, you know, this redeco wouldn't be my redeco if it didn't have a cute face on, so I just plonked a cute face on it right in the middle of the entire squishy. It probably doesn't make sense to have this there, as it probably just worked well by itself, but I wanted one, so I added one on. So once the face was fully on, I then left it to dry, and once dried, my squishy was then completely complete. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. I think the witch's hat looks really good. Let's just ignore that smudge right there. I think the legs look really good coming out of it, and I'm really happy with the overall like appearance of it. It's also fixed like the thumbnail kind of rips in it that I had, and also ignore the bottom because I haven't painted it, and if I have a few moments during the week I'm just going to paint it brown to match the logs going around the outside. But like I said, I'm really happy with this. I'm happy with the way it squishes. I love the little face on the front. I think it's so cute, and I feel like a squishy deco wouldn't be me if it didn't have a cute face on. So I'm kind of weirded out by ones where I haven't put a cute face on them, but yeah. Like I said, this was a collaboration, so I will leave all the other 2 videos down in the description down below so you can check them out. Obviously Holly's and JoJo's were both amazing, so I do recommend you clicking on both of them and checking them out, so down in the description down below. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this squishy turned out. I know the face isn't going to be liked by some, but look, you can just cover it up and you never know, it's fine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up as it does help me along my way, and I'll be back tomorrow with a squishy package. Bye!